What's up, people? It's time for more EACS action. It's been a while since I've had the chance to do one of these. I've been busy for a week or two. It feels so good to get right back into the action, and what a day to do it as well. We've got a banger matchup coming for you folks at home, and that means we've got to bring in some banger talent. Can't believe I've just talked about myself like that.
Wow.
I'm Infinity, and we've got Major on the cast tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, mate.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what, I couldn't have asked for a better game to come in on, to be honest. I mean, looking across the groups, as we will do before we delve into it, but this is basically the interesting one. And it's kind of coming to a good end here in groups, actually. And the matchup that we've got here on paper, kind of as we look at it, down in Group D, this is where the magic's going to happen, mate, because this is where we might potentially see arguably the biggest upset so far.
Yeah, so you guys can see here as we look towards the standings, the current state of things across the board. Obviously, from each group, only two make it through final single elimination bracket. And for the most part, those two from every single group has been decided. From Group A, we have NRW International and Paradox making it through. From Group B, no surprise that Ace are through. Maybe a little bit of a surprise that Cantic stole away that second spot from Sierra 7, excuse me. Group C, we've got Animus and Instinct. And Group D, the state of play here is that no matter what happens, Monarchs have secured one of the two spots in this group. The question is, Major, whether or not it's going to be Exclusive or Troglodyte Tribe that join them there. Let's show everybody the bracket then at home to kind of give you guys an idea of how the bracket looks right now. As we said, we've got 7 teams in there. We haven't slotted Monarchs in just yet, but we've got some great games here. You've seen a few of these teams, I think, right, Major?
Yeah.
You've had a chance to cast a couple. Anybody here that stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I can only really go off of what I've seen personally from the Group C teams. Animus look very, very good. Obviously, before coming into COD Mobile, you mentioned they were a team to keep an eye on.
Yep.
Very talented roster. Don't know what they're going to be like coming up against in that second place of Group D. So I believe, if I'm correct, if Exclusive win 2-0, then that means that Monarchs will top the group, and I believe it will be Exclusive then that play Animus, actually. And then obviously if Troglodyte win this one, then they top the group, so it'll be Monarchs that goes through to face Animus. But yeah, Animus and Instinct are the two that I actually know the most of. Animus are definitely the one for me personally that I'll be interested to keep an eye on how they can go pushing through the bracket on this one, because it'll be interesting to see how they match up against the other teams that I have, to be honest, perfectly not really much of an understanding about. So yeah, they're the boys for me anyways.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing here is you look at, Exclusive. Even if they go 2-0 tonight, they still will get second in the group, and that means that their first round matchup, best case scenario, is going head to head with Animus. That's going to be a banger matchup. That is normally a matchup that closes out a Snapdragon Pro Series season. So to have that potentially be a round 1 matchup is insane. Here's a look then. Exclusive. Obviously, there are a number of players on each roster. Exclusive starting 5 for tonight. There was a little bit of hoo-ha. Is Neil going to be playing, and how would that affect Exclusive's chances? Well, it turns out Neil is playing. He is playing on the roster tonight, and that's going to be a big boon of success for this roster. Obviously, you've got Champy, Veer, Spy, and Caesar flanking. And, having Neil, I don't know if you've had a chance to see what Neil brings to the table for Exclusive, but he's a pretty good sniper player, Major.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't actually seen this team play, but one thing that I have noticed on COD Mobile is the impact that those sniper players can have in kind of Group C and Animus. The abilities that they had within their team. I think it was it so I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. I'll kick myself in a second for this one, but the sniper plays can make the change,
right.
Especially in Search and Destroy. The amount of kind of first picks that you can rely on in COD Mobile can make a huge difference in some of these Search and Destroy maps. I would assume that, again, in this exclusive roster, like you say, that Neil is that man to make those plays. And kind of, if the name comes to me, I will just randomly blurt it out. Apologies, because it will be
which team did you say?
Animus. It was Animus.
Oh, Animus.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Why am I struggling? Guys, I promise you, I've casted professional Call of Duty Mobile. I promise you, I have done so.
Sarway. Is it Sarway?
Was Sarway on the sniper?
He was sniping. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him that was sniping. It was
Sarze. Says. It's Says, Matt.
Apologies. Yeah, but yeah, he was the one sniping. Sorry, it was Saywo that I was getting confused with. But yeah, no, they obviously they're going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on, as we mentioned. And then obviously Troglodyte again, Brody. I'll pass the mantle on to you guys and to you, mate, because again, this is another team that I don't necessarily know a huge amount about.
Well, right. I mean, after exclusive, they lost 2-0 to Monarchs. And that match, by the way, wasn't remotely close. It was basically a 100-point club, 3-7 in the Search and Destroy. I don't think anybody expected this roster to go out and beat Monarchs in the preceding matchup. And a big reason for that, I did get to watch it. Yeah, they lost the hard point, but for them, that was only really a kind of a second set on Hacienda affair. They really did struggle in the second half of that game. But you go to the maps they did manage to win, and their spawn traps from Troglodyte Tribe in control were excellent. And I think specifically looking towards the play, you talk about sniper rifle presence. Pavnion was very impressive on fire and range, search and destroy. So he's definitely going to be a player I'm looking out for here, and Mute as well. However, there is kind of an elephant in the room that Troglodyte Tribe, it feels like they've cheated in a way, because they've added a couple of last-minute additions, which technically speaking you can do by the rules, but those last 2-minute additions are absolute bombs. In Sixelfi, who is a current UEC reigning champion, was on the Queen's roster last season that managed to take it all away. And then Kirby, who of course everyone will know from his time on Vanquish, inside the Snapdragon Pro Series, a team that managed to get all the way to third. This year, Troglodyte Tribe have kind of pack-punched themselves coming into this matchup. So they're going to be a team that I don't think will roll over against Exclusive, who, by the way, again, do need to 2-0 this matchup if they want to make it through. With that said then, you guys have seen these maps all week. They are set maps for every single round of play. Here are the maps. First time casting a Combine for me. Full stop, Major.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this is kind of like throwback central for me since coming to COD Mobile, seeing some of these goated maps coming in. Obviously, Combine Hardpoint is going to be a very mixy one. Anyone who played it back in the day knows that it's very close quarters engagements, very fast pace. And again, with COD Mobile, where you're playing 5v5, it is engagements everywhere. Plus, you add the operators in, which make it even more of an absolute mess sometimes on some of these hills. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Combine Hardpoint. And then yeah, standoff search and destroy is pretty much like a staple in traditional COD. So again, it's going to be one where you're looking towards kind of those sniper plays. But I'm excited to see map 1, to be honest, mate. I think it's going to be a really busy affair on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I will say, I think moving forward into this series, we know we're going to get a map number 2 no matter what happens. I'm really excited for that standoff. I think the sniper play on that map we're going to see from Neil and Pavnion is going to be top notch. I can't wait to see that battle, to be honest. I think for the longest time, a lot of the conversation in Europe has always been around Neil and Marvel being these massive sniper rifle players that very few people have actually got anywhere near touching. And so I think for us to have some new names into the mix, I think it's going to be really interesting. So with that said, folks, it's time to waste, no more time. Exclusive versus Troglodyte Tribe. Again, a reminder here to set the plays. Exclusive have to win both maps. They have to cleanly 2-0 Troglodyte Tribe if we want to see them in the next stage of competition, which, by the way, is an aside, Major. I don't know. I think we've had this discussion. This is they're like back-to-back grand finalists in EU Pro League. You do not want to not have Exclusive in the playoff bracket.
No, and I think this is kind of where you're probably looking at this team now to really start to pull their finger out. I think this is where you're going to kind of have the traditional lean forward moment. And I think the early part of the hard point is probably going to be a good indicator of what kind of exclusive thing we're going to get here in this series. Obviously, B1 not exactly the easiest kind of way of being able to tell who's going to potentially come out on top, but if you've got a team that already starts to soak up a lot of kills and a lot of time, which we're starting to see a little bit here now already, you can kind of see who looks to be the warmer of the two.
Yeah, for sure. And this is not the start that Exclusive wanted right out the gate here, right? Troglodyte Tribe, they're actually getting a wealth of time away from P1 that you wouldn't normally expect any team to go for. So Exclusive, they want to get in for the back 20 seconds. The problem for them now is they kind of do need to fight forward in towards P2. There's always those discussions about, the kind of close quarter engagements you have to take. It is going to be difficult to do, but Champy comes through for 3 kills now. Mute has a lot to do around the front, not quite anticipating the second gunfight against Veer. Veer now able to find his way through. Maybe a bit of miscom, because Sixelfi hasn't responded to it. Veer now for a couple of kills towards the point, and yeah, those back spawns are here for Trog, but Exclusive are in for the moment until Kirby does that. That's a big two-piece with the Odin.
Yeah, and now you're going to start to see a little bit of an early bit of time going in favour of Troglodyte Tribe. Obviously the tacticals and they's going to try and fly in, but it's going to be kind of how long do they try and play for the back spawns here. It's going to be a difficult one to try and ask a lot of players to punch through the front door, but they are going to fly in. Sixelfi, it's actually going to be Kirby that's actually going to pick up a couple of kills, and they will still be responding with 2 of their own, so a little bit of back and forth, but Troglodyte, through all the madness, they are still soaking up the lion's share of time on the P2, and early 30 seconds look good to the team in yellow.
Troglodyte drive here, looking for the back 30 seconds. Early investment as well coming up from Kirby, who's had a stellar start to this game. 10 kills to his name. You can see why Troglodyte Tribe added him to the roster. And that means the Troglodyte Tribe now, I think, should be good for the back 15 seconds. The good news, I suppose, for exclusive here is that you currently do have control of the spawns for new. There's no way Melody is able to turn on towards Spy, and they will not. But still, those spawns look like they're going to be flipped until you can see through the X-ray. You can't really see the minimap because it's currently broken here on Combine Hardpoint. You can see the long rotation that has been made. Exclusive have not reacted to this well whatsoever. Now Caesar needs to play hero towards the top side. 605 comes in, though, the equalizers. That's 2, that's 3. And that's an early break.
And that's where you look towards the operators to really kind of have their impact, and that's exactly what they managed to do. Troglodyte still pushing this lead out. Exclusive got to be a little bit careful now, because although it's still early days in this one, they can't afford to do it. Caesar's actually going to pick up 2 with the Sparrow in hand, and those back spawns still coming through. But the operators there, the death machines, they're throwing the kitchen sink at this to make sure they put every single player in the blender. I believe the spawns should now flip, which they finally do. So a really big moment there from Exclusive. It was looking like it was actually going to run away a little bit with them there, Brody, but really good work from the operators to come through there and pick up some huge kills and some huge time as well.
Yeah, they really needed that. If Troglodyte Tribe Rabbits break there, if Neil doesn't make the play that he does, we are looking down the barrel of a dominant lead that, again, we'll keep on reminding folks, Troglodyte Tribe, Exclusive cannot let them have that. So we go now back towards the middle of the map here for the next hard point. It's actually just to the right, inside the little alcove, and already start to see the kill feed light up blue as Exclusive start to get some momentum in their favor. Mute now looking across the middle of the map, trying to cut these guys off. The problem at the source. Champy gets through, though, for a couple of kills. Champy able to get number 3 with the VMP. Looking for the clean wipe, and Kirby's the next one on the platter as Champy is cleaning house. It's 5 for Champy, and he paves the way for Exclusive towards the hill.
Yeah, and this is the impact that your SMGs can have on this kind of map, on Combine. If you don't have mid-map control and you allow those subs to just close the distance on the players in the hill, they can absolutely shred through, and that's exactly what we've seen there. Mute's going to at least grab one pick in favour of Troglodyte, but Exclusive have completely flipped this one out. Mute's going to pop, again, another bit of streak, and it's going to be a case of the kill feed going yellow into Troglodyte Tribe's favour. So still 30 seconds remaining on this one. Exclusive with a big opportunity to soak the time, but again, you're just looking towards the kill feed, and how many times do we see Troglodyte Tribe just light it up? It's going to be 605 that's able to grab a couple before Champy finally trades it back, and they're going to be looking to this man to be able to keep this going through the map if they're going to want to take it.
Oh, that's a big war machine, though, from Kirby. That's the second time we've seen a big play like that this game from him. He is a big addition to this Troglodyte Tribe roster. We've discussed at length what he can do for a lot of teams in Call of Duty Mobile. He's been one of the players, I think, that's been making a real name for himself over the last couple of seasons of the Snapdragon Pro Series, and we are seeing exactly why right now. And as we go into the second set here, Major, not really much to split the difference between these two teams. Just 4 points between Exclusive and Troglodyte Tribe. But we saw at the start of the last hard point, the start of the last rotation, that a team can get a lot of time away from P1.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is as well, like through all the madness of P1, you can kind of argue that teams are going to try and play for P2, but on a map like Combine, the distance to close is so small that you can essentially look to bombard P1, headbutt it consistency, not really think about spawns too much, and then soak up a huge amount of time here. And I don't want to jinx it so far at the moment, Brody, but these guys are literally tit for tat. There's nothing separating them at the moment. Every single gunfight seems to be a 2-piece from Exclusive, then responded to by 2 or 3 from Troglodyte Tribe. So it's just one where at the moment I think this might go quite the distance if it keeps going this way.
Welcome to Call of Duty Mobile, Major. This is just how things are, mate. Exclusive and Troglodyte Tribe currently going at it. One thing that has remained consistent between the two rotations, though, is that it feels like Troglodyte Tribe are going to be the first team to touch as we go towards new. Now, again, there's always this 8-second grace period between hard points that Exclusive will have to traverse the map. But can they get past Troglodyte? Because it feels like the setup is maybe a little bit more secure this time around. Pavnion keeping an eye on the outside. We'll get that first kill. Tempest now invested from Meliodas as well. And 605 bringing out the equalizers. Meliodas is actually going to lose his. Veer now through the front will find 3 with the War Machine. Pavnion needs to play hero here, and he just isn't doing it. It's also the Sparrow from Caesar. That is a brilliant investment from Exclusive.
And it's just the operators again. I say the explosive ordnance that they've got on that roster to be able to utilise. They're using it to absolute perfection. Every single time it looks as though they're kind of on the back foot and going to need a really big break. That's what the operators are there for at the end of the day. It's obviously an easy thing to try and pop one very, very quickly and then subsequently lose it for an important moment. But they've used it to perfection yet again. They're on the time. They're still spawning, I believe, those yellow arrows out towards the backside of the hill. I think actually now it might have flipped, but that huge amount of time there that what they were able to accumulate off of the Sparrow and the War Machine has again just pushed this lead out a little bit more as they're looking to get ready for the next hill.
Yeah, that was a good utilization of your operators right there. I will say, though, as you do go into the next one, you don't have anything. That being said, neither did Trog, really. I mean, Mute's only got his. I don't actually know what he's using right now, but he's the only one with operator on board at the moment, so maybe he will want to use that to ensure the Troglodyte tribe do get some modicum of control. Currently, you've got Meliduas towards the middle of the map as Veer takes him down. Now Exclusive will be well on their way. 6-5 back out. There we go. They have the answer. Mute's going to use the Gravity Vortex gun towards the point. Kirby has been so effective as well with the War Machine, so it feels like if Exclusive could do it in the last hard point, maybe Troglodyte Tribe can do it in this one, and you're starting to see that effect. Mute finds a couple of kills with the Gravity Vortex gun, but Kirby will only find one, and now Exclusive are knocking at the door.
Yeah. They've got to try and get the next series of kills, though. Neil's going to grab one. Mute with a huge two-piece, though, is actually going to stop that progression from maybe coming through as much as Exclusive might have hoped. Pavlion's going to reply with a pick as well, so we're still going back and forth through all the smoke as they desperately try and leather every bullet at anything that moves through the smoke. And again, it's still heavily contested with only 10 seconds remaining, and you're looking at 161, 62. A bit of scrap time, again, that Exclusive are going to be able to accumulate, but my God, at the moment, every single second is counting in this map, and you've got a couple of players already to go for the next hill, and you're going to see the equalizer popped it by 6-5. We know how devastating this can be. There's one for him, there's the second, and that kill feed lights up very, very yellow at the start of the new hill.
This is a big hard point. Troglodyte will be the first to touch. Split spawns coming through from Exclusive, and at every single point of ingress, Troglodyte Tribe are meeting them. It's more kills coming through. Spy, though, might have just found a way to crack this chestnut. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case, because you've got Meliduas towards the hill. Oh. He's finding kills here with the Tempest, and that changed. So it stops Exclusive to get towards the point. Pavlion now starting to find value on the other side, and this is a lot of time the Troglodyte Tribe are getting.
Yeah, they can't allow them more than, I would say, another 15 seconds on this hill, because this is going to be the biggest lead, arguably, that we've seen all map long. Finally, they take the man off the time, but a new one's going to reinforce it. It's going to be Mute flying out, but it's going to be a big win there from Exclusive, and you're looking now to try and soak up the remaining scrap time again here, and that's probably the most important chunk of time that Troglodyte Tribe has managed to accumulate in the last couple of hills. You're going to see Kirby with a huge two-piece just to shut down the remaining hopes of any sort of blue time coming through, and now that 40-second gap, the way these guys have been going, Brody, this is huge time now between them.
Yeah, I mean, I would even go as far to say that's not just the most time that Troglodyte Tribe have gotten in this game, but either team have gotten in this game off of a single hard point. That is a huge hill from them. And we saw that Troglodyte Tribe have been so much more successful than Exclusive at getting time on P1 and transitioning successfully into P2. And that's why you're starting to see Exclusive spin the wheels, but an immediate shutdown comes down. The investment of the equalizers from Champy amounts to naught, and Exclusive now are starting to spin their wheels. They're starting to struggle because Troglodyte Tribe, they've got themselves set up for that P2 rotation.
And this is the thing, when you're down that time, you've got to try and drastically play for the time on P1 and also try and rotate. And this is kind of where they're stuck between a rock and a hard place here, because Troglodyte can still keep throwing bodies at this hill. And it's going to be Kirby with another pick with that War Machine. You've got Ver as well, who's just going to be trying to push in, and it looks as though Spy's going to try and at least get some remaining time on this one, but they've got to try and push through to New. The yellow arrows from Troglodyte Tribe still spawning out the back of New. This next wave of gunfights is going to be absolutely huge. Pavlion's going to shut down two players. Veer again is going to try and work his way through the map, but at the moment they're still spawning in that preferred position, and now this is do or die here for Exclusive. They've got to get these next kills.
Have to win every single gunfight. Veer is desperately trying to find his way towards a hard point. It's just not happening. Troglodyte Tribe are 30 hard point points away from knocking Exclusive out of UCS, excuse me. Pavlion through the front of the hard point will get a couple of kills here with the Purifier. Now kills still going in Troglodyte Tribe's favor. Champy, your only hope. Equalizers, they amount to nothing. Troglodyte Tribe now, they've got equalizers of their own. Just 15 seconds and Exclusive are done.
This front door's shut off as well with these equalizers. Nobody is going down there anytime soon. The Hunter Seeker drone is going to see if he can get anything, but the equalizer's still shutting down the front door. Exclusive, they are in the time, but just for a split second as they finally go in. But now Caesar gets two. It's going to be Kirby with a nade, and again another pick that comes through for them. And with 2 seconds remaining, Troglodyte Tribe gets it done. Exclusive, they just gave themselves too much to do. They couldn't punch through the front door, and unfortunately, they're not going to be swinging anymore, mate. They're going home.
Wow. Back to back to back to back. Second place team Exclusive in the Snapdragon Pro Series. It really does look like they've got some stiff competition, as they will fall out of the competition. We won't see them no more in EACS for this season. Let's take a look then at the final scoreboards to show you what the hell went right for that game. We talk about new additions to this roster. Kirby, he had his moments. Every single time we saw Kirby get the War Machine out, he was doing some serious damage with it. Shout out to 605 though. It feels like most times we were not seeing 605 in the feed, really, right? He wasn't popping off by any stretch of the imagination. Turns out he was popping off. We just weren't seeing him do it. 47 and 24 is a heck of a scoreline.
Yeah, and then again across the board, kind of for both respective teams. Obviously, it's a map combine where you're going to be likely to get on the hill, but again, you're looking at a minute of hill time from him. But just across the board, the slaying ability, you can really see the difference there when you've got somebody going double positive, and pretty much, I believe, everyone apart from Mute, who was actually positive on the side of those boys in Troglodyte Tribe. It was just, yeah, you're always going to find it difficult on a hard point, Brody, if you're not getting kills. And I think it was only Very who's actually the only positive player on the side of exclusive. So, I mean, considering it was a 65, if my maths is correct, difference. It's kill feed and kind of numbers don't really boast the favour there of the boys in blue in that one. And unfortunately, on a map like Combine, when it's mixy as anything, you need the kills to go with it, and they weren't unfortunately able to provide them.
I am absolutely shooketh. I cannot believe what we have just seen. Insane. Again, I really have to stress this. Exclusive are well renowned as one of the best teams in Europe. Like, they are a top 2 team. This is a team that consistently makes it to champs every single year. Obviously, maybe that's not going to be the case anymore. I'll say this much. Okay, we'll put this on a positive spin here for a second, Major. Europe. I mean, there's been a bit of a conversation. I'm not sure if you've maybe seen it on the timeline the last couple of days, but there's been a bit of conversation, obviously, with the announcement of spots for champs this year, that Europe has been reduced from 2 spots down to 1. And a lot of the conversation has been, well, yeah, it kind of makes sense because Europe has kind of shit the bed at an international level for the last 2 years consecutively. But at the same time, what a time to do it, because the talent pool in Europe has never been deeper, and a roster like Troglodyte Tribe isn't even a roster that I would necessarily talk about. Like, I've been talking about Ace being another roster that can come in and pick that final spot up. You know, obviously last season we had the likes of Vanquish and Queens and all those rosters, all those players, I should say, excuse me, are floating about across various teams, including Ace. But it's not just Animus and exclusive. And albeit, you know, it hasn't been in the past. There's always been like a 117 not found hanging about as well. There is a very deep talent pool in Europe, and Troglodyte Tribe have just proven it. So exclusive, they're done now. What do you do? Like, I don't know if they know they're done, but there's nothing they can do now.
Well, I mean, obviously with COD Mobile and how many years it's kind of been running through. I mean, I can only kind of lean on COD multiplayer, mate, in that you get kind of these occasional moments with teams and with players that have been around for a while that have a high expectation that just sometimes fall away, and then you can see kind of new names coming through to the front that then kind of give you an opportunity for teams to branch out, look at new teams, look at new players, and then you see like I wouldn't want to say meta in the teams and the players that we see, but you start to see these players break in. And to be fair, Troglodyte, they've literally beaten what's been in front of them. So all you could say is literally they're a valid winner in this one as they now go into map 2 pretty much with their feet up, and happy days for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't blame him, mate. That was an insane performance, and now we do get to see those opening snipes off. Deal will take one player out of the play. I think it was Kirby that went down. So numbers here for exclusive, but those numbers are split up across the map. So you're looking for Veer and Caesar to try and help out. That help is not going to be arriving anytime soon. Mute now looking to take advantage of that. You will get it done. Those players overwhelmed. That was a beautiful 3-on-2 executed by Troglodyte Tribe.
Yeah, well, it's going to be next kill, going to be the all-important one. Bomb's going down here from Pavnian. You can see there that Caesar's just waiting for the right time. He knows that he's there behind the bomb. He's there with the sniper, though. He's got to be careful not to peek his head too high, and he is going to get tagged up, so the comm should come through, but just popping his head up and down there with the sniper in hand. Still looking for this next pick at the moment. It's been a very, very patient one, but he is going to go down on the bomb, and now you're looking towards the play from Pavnian. SMG out. Shot's a little bit windowless. He's going to get the snipe. No, he's not, so it will be actually the old boxing gloves coming through there from exclusive.
I had flashbacks there, flash forwards. I could see it happening, and Pavilion would be the player to get it done, if not. But phenomenal retake coming through from Veer and Season. I think it's the fact they were so far removed from their teammates that threw Troglodyte Tribe off in that situation, right? That you know, you execute a 3-on-2, and you're like, well, the teammates have to be pretty close, right? No, not accurate whatsoever. Veer and Caesar from a totally different side of the map they come in and they're able to pull off a 2 versus 3. So shout out to those guys. Exclusive 1-0 up now at the start of this one. Already trades through the middle of the map. Caesar getting aggressive and will be shut down for it. Mute living up to his name. He is silencing the opposition now. Spy trying to do some damage with the PKM. Yeah, I think these guys might know that they're not going to qualify now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they've just kind of submitted themselves to the fact that it's not going to happen for them. But we'll see. Regardless, Pavnian laying prone, just going to be watching the cross with the Tundra in the hand. Quick scope isn't going to land, and Troglodyte do get a round on the board. But I mean, standoff, mate. The opening part of the round is always going to be mixy because you can throw the nades pretty much from one side to the other, and both of the teams, I think, chewed off 6 players across the board within the first 10 seconds. I think it was.
Dudes.
Kobe.
COD Mobile rounds are so weird. Kobe off the start? Could be. Trophies are normally out though, so those things will be caught more likely than not.
Yeah.
Regardless, exclusive here, looking for a way back into the search and destroy, even though it really won't matter, and they're automatically down to the last couple of players. Troglodyte Tribe are being so damn aggressive right now, and they've split the difference between the last couple of bodies as well, so they might be able to be on the hunt for Veer. Neil is not helping anytime soon. Pavnian's just run straight by him. I have no idea how he's doing it. He's blind as a bloody bat.
He's just running with a spear in here like a Roman, just going for the next kill. It's going to be Veer just all on his ones. How many snipes can he bag? One player's going to be on tank. That's going to be Kirby, and he's going to slap him round the face with his respective Tundra, as they will get a second round on the board. But yeah, Troglodyte at the moment looking like a very, very coordinated outfit, Brody, even if Exclusive aren't necessarily taking it as seriously as they might have been hoping. But you're looking at Troglodyte, and again, it's a sign of a good team if they're hitting things together and they're managing to grab a couple of kills rather than just trading 1 for 1, and that's what they keep consistently doing at the moment.
Oh my god, overwhelming. Oh, Caesar almost lines a lot of players up. You can see Troglodyte Tribe just full sending it straight down the back alley here. 6 of 5 is not long for this world. And you know what? Look, it doesn't really matter too much at this point. Troglodyte Tribe are going to go through no matter what. So I think they just kind of throw in some fun strategies at Exclusive. That was a 5-man hit straight down the back alley. And Exclusive, well, I mean, they were ready for it. So 2-2 now. Search and destroy. Couple more rounds before we switch sides. Nades over the top here. The trophy system's there to catch it from Spy. So Exclusive, they hold for the moment.
Yep. So a much slower paced start to this round. In round 5, you're looking at kind of where potentially Troglodyte might try and push through here. You can see number 4, I believe, in Meliodas is trying to maybe get the pick, and he does actually manage to take down Caesar. So important first pick there coming through for Troglodyte, courtesy of Meliodas, and the next pick's going to be a really important one here, because if Exclusive drop another life off a pretty free pick and not a huge amount of information like they've just done there, that round's going to be so difficult now to try and work up.
So it feels like Exclusive are just being kind of battered away somewhat until attempt to get behind enemy lines is shut down here. Big kills coming out from Spy again with the PKM, by the way, which is still technically a meta weapon, but still it's not the meta weapon by any stretch of the imagination. Champy with the VMP will find one. And now Troglodyte Tribe are stuck in the middle of the map here, despite the fact that they do have bomb control. The best thing you can do in this situation is get that rock down, and Meliodas just does not think that he has the space. He does not think it, and he would be right, because Veer's going to snipe him out of the play. Now just down to Pavnian for a 1v3, and that hit marker is so damn unfortunate.
Yeah, that was potentially the other moment which could have helped him win the round. Now they've got the info of where he is. He's going to have to try and hunt for this next pick again, trying to find that man in mid. Popping up and down there like a whack-a-mole. Isn't going to actually collide with anyone. He's still waiting for the next potential chance to come through from the A site. Nothing's going to be given to him, so Exclusive, they're digging their heels down. They don't want to give him anything more than they necessarily should. And with 14 seconds, this round is pretty much over for him here. He should get spotted in towards mid. And yeah, he does. Spy mops him up. So good round on the board for Exclusive again.
Nicely done from Exclusive. Getting exactly what they needed to do done in those rounds. So big plays coming out. I think it was from Spy. He picked up the kills necessary to actually keep Troglodyte Tribe stuck in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
So now we look over towards Troglodyte Tribe. One more offensive effort, and it feels like a bit of a split one. They do feel relatively focused on towards A. Utility over the top here. Are Exclusive ready for this one? Have they battened down the hatches necessarily? Champy definitely has done exactly that. Yeah, you lose him, but you lose Spy as well. I was going to say you still have Spy on the board, but Meliodas picking up those kills will at least make this palatable. The problem is Exclusive are closing in.
And the thing is, he's stuck in square as well, so they've got him trapped. They know where he is. He's literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. Not really much you can expect of him in that position, and yeah, just gets absolutely slapped from from the sniper shot there to finish him off. So yeah, if you're looking at exclusive, these last couple of rounds have been pretty good for them actually. I think they've had a couple of opportunities, Troglodyte, courtesy of some first bloods, but they just weren't able to mop it up. So exclusive kind of showing a bit of quality there, being able to be down a few numbers and still get this one done, and they are pushing straight down mid.
Aggressive from exclusive here. On the offense, they want to clear a lot of space. They haven't cleared out Meliodas, though. Spy, he will take down Kirby. Surely Spy's in on as well. Surely? Meliodas? Surely? No? Ooh. Meliodas cannot finish anything. He has a look at so many players, and I think his eyes are bigger than his belly.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Pavnian now going to see if he can make the play of the century, because there's going to be a lot of players running at him. He's, again, got to try and work his way to the bomb. Ooh, don't gift him anything. Okay, never mind. The machine pistol there from Neil with some crispy shots are going to be good enough in that one. And another round on the board there for exclusive, who are, yeah, they are looking very good in the search and destroy, which is a shame considering, obviously, after the way that map 1 went, mate, because this is looking like a completely different kettle of fish.
Exclusive, did you want to win the hard point? Because that would have made this more interesting. Pavnian, oh, he's making things interesting. It's 2 off the rip. Neil would take him down. Pavnian spent just a little bit too long staring him down across the map. This does come down to a 2 versus 2. Now a 2v1, 6 of 5. Takes a couple of players down. Will put the odds back in their favor. They know, generally speaking, where Neil was previously. They know that he was bottom brown. But do they know where he's gone?
Well, he's got to get this next pick on Meliodas on his right-hand side. If he's going to spot him laying prone, though, because Meliodas is right in the open. There you go. There's the first pick. So now both players know where they are. The machine pistol. Oh, he spots him as well. So he's got the information on Sixel Fight. And it's just a question of, does Sixel Fight make the anticipation that he's going to be here, literally waiting for him at the bottom side of the building? They're literally going to headbutt, and the SMG in hand. Oh, sorry, the XM4 is going to be a hell of a lot better than the sniper, potentially, unless you can hit the no-scope, which wasn't going to happen on that occasion.
Oh, man. That's unfortunate. But it is, in the end, going to be a 1 versus 1. It goes the way of Sixel Fight. So, Troglodyte Tribe now. Aggression here on the defense. It's going to be a 5-man hit straight through A. That's going to back Spy off. You've got to imagine that someone's going to react. I don't think any of the arrows on the minimap have reacted. Exclusive, I don't think they particularly care. They're like, hey, well, I guess these guys have taken full control over the playground, so I guess we'll go B. Sure, maybe? I don't know. They feel like they're kind of stuck in the mud right now.
I was going to say, they're going to have to, if they're going to try and have any hope of getting it off to A, they're going to have to try and get a pick of at least one of those 3 players that have managed to push all the way through to boxes. So you're now going to, again, have an opportunity in mid-map, or Kirby does get a little bit of info, doesn't get the pick though. So a lot of players now looking to try and work their way around the back of Granny's, and you've got 2 players now looking for a chow in towards square, and those players are now trapped, so they've done a really good job of swarming around the players, and you've now got 2 players that have fallen for both of the respective sides, and it's now going to be a 3v3.
Spy finds 1. Spy finds 2. Caesar actually finishes off that gunfight. Now just down to Pavnian, hasn't had the sniper rifle in the hand, and he will get the final kill. Of course, Mute involved in that final escapade as well. Pavnian will be the player that deal the killing blow. I don't think Troglodyte Tribe want to let go of the search and destroy. They're still hanging on.
No, so they want to rack as many maps on the board as possible. Again, Exclusive did such a good job of actually surrounding the site and trapping them inside it, but they just got the first couple of kills, and then all of a sudden Troglodyte just bit back with 2 of their own. So it's going to be a very important swing round now. So 6-4 is looking much better to Exclusive than a 5-all. And oh, the double nade comes through from Veer, so he's going to take down both Kirby and Pavnian. And now you're looking at a really awkward situation here for Troglodyte Tribe. Otherwise, Exclusive will now push this round lead out back to 2.
And Meliodas will find 1. And that's going to send them away. Fortunately enough, I was going to say fortunately enough for Exclusive. They've got a lot of presence around the back alley here, so they could very easily pivot this bomb over towards B. Spy is determined to take Meliodas out of the play. He is hitting him for a couple of shots. It feels like, I don't know, you're kind of hitting him with what, like rubber bullets or something? Because he's not really doing that much damage. In the end, though, Spy over the top, just looking for this kill for the longest period of time. Can his teammates do something, please? Neil, you can't just die, bud. You need to actually pick up the kill there. Yeah,
I was going to say, meanwhile, it's because you're going to pick that comes through. Actually, Champion Spy, there you go. There's the kill. So now, all on Mute. And now he's going to have to try and work some magic. I think he's been spotted. Yeah, Champion takes him down. So it will now be Exclusive 1 round away from getting this one done and tying the series up 1 apiece. So really good work from them again. And Troglodyte, I mean, they're still going to keep going down, kicking and screaming in this one, but Exclusive, they just keep picking them apart in rounds where it looks like it might favour Troglodyte. So fair play to the guys. They keep notching rounds on the board.
Exclusive just 1 round away from tying up the series at 1-1. And that's a good start. Pubnian down for the count. That is a big head to take off here in the search and destroy. Kirby will trade things out, though. Kirby whiffs on the second. That would have been perfect if you could take Spy out the play. Even better if you can maybe get Neil down. He maybe hasn't been that effective so far in this search and destroy. Kirby is kind of cheating death at the moment, though. He's definitely playing with his life. Oh, the hit inside. There is the finish. Spy goes down in the end, and once again, we're in a situation that probably we're pretty familiar with at this point. Exclusive, they can't hit it from one angle, so they're trying to get it done from another, and Caesar will reveal said angle by taking Mute out of the play.
Yeah, and now with a 3v3 situation, they've got to try and work this next pick. Whoa. Was that a hit marker onto Meliodas? I don't think it was. I think he just missed a little bit, but now they're going to actually try and work their way over towards the A site, and it's going to be number 1 here in Kirby that's ready and waiting for them. Oh my God! He's looking for the third as well. Give him the clip! Oh, it's not going to happen regardless, but 2 big kills there with the sniper completely shuts down any hope of them getting on that A site.
Ooh, hoo, hoo. Baby. Love some snazzy snipes from Kirby. Would have been nice to have him get the third as well. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to finish the rounds off. Not messing about. Feels like Troglodyte Tribe. 1 round away from forcing this, I think, would be our first overtime of the EACS. I don't think we've had one so far. Caesar doesn't want us to have one, though. Mute is blown up by the car bomb at the start of this round. Neil's trying to get it across the way. There's an immediate trade coming through. So now down to a 3 versus 4 here. Troglodyte Tribe, they are the ones on the defense. They do not need to make the move forward. Meliodas is in a horrible position, and yet still somehow walked away with Veer. Hello?
Oh my God, I was going to say, when Veer popped his head up, I thought, don't play with fire, but he's able to get the pick, so 3v3 now, even playing field. But that bomb is still dropped in an awkward spot, so they've got to try and retrieve it. Just playing for a little bit of info, Spy seeing if he can tag anyone up here with the PKM. He isn't going to hit anything with it. He's still got 154 bullets left to work with, though, so he can pretty much shoot through any single paper mache wall that God Mobile has to offer him. But again, that information in towards mid-map, you'd think that 605 might get a bit of a spot onto them when they try and maybe retrieve this bomb if they are going to try and go over that kind of back alley wall. So the next pick's going to be the all-important one. You've still got number 4 there in Meliodas as well, lurking around the B site. So it's just a question of when they try and get this bomb down.
This 3 versus 3, with how long Exclusive are taking to make it happen here, does technically speaking favor Troglodyte Tribe. The problem is, all 3 of these players are totally separate from one another. So if Meliodas goes down, the likelihood of it being traded, even though 605 is watching that cross like a hawk, is very low. And that's the play hit. Draw those players out. And you've also got the other angle of exit covered, but Meliodas goes down now. Pubnian, the world rests on your shoulder. Pubnian slides out for the first. There's the second as well. It's time for an overtime, baby.
Oh my God. Well, I can shout out Group C on this occasion, Brody, because we did actually have an overtime in Group C.
We did?
Only, I believe,
oh, man.
2 rounds. It was only 2 rounds. But regardless, we're getting another one now. I mean, Pavnian, huge kills there. Again, trapped in square. Not really much of a hope in hell in that one. And he just absolutely whizzes out to grab the second kill onto the man on the bomb site. So the opportunity knocked, and he went slamming through on that one. And again, wow, this is very aggressive from Troglodyte all over the A site. This bomb should go down any second. And now you're looking at Exclusive on how they try and retake this.
Bomb has been planted.
Trog have been quick in this round. Exclusive once again feel a bit split here. Veer down for the count. Champy, do you want to wait? Do you want to waste some time? Has to check the corner and will outplay Mute on the movement, but not going to outplay Pubnian. Number still favoring Trog here. 4 versus 3. Second for Pubnian. Spy will trade things out, but looking in the direction there's no players, and that will now leave them in a 1 versus 2. Neil. 1 versus 1 to do it. Does he have time? Yes, he does. He wins the 1v1. Has time for the defuse. Neil pops off. And that's why you put Neil on the sniper rifle.
I was going to say, the reaction there, as soon as that player literally appeared on the screen, the whip to hit the shot as well. And that's a really, really big round there for Exclusive. So it puts them 1 round away. They're now on the offense. And again, another good site retake there from Exclusive, Brody. They've done it quite a few times now. And a very important round there. And Neil the man to provide the moment of magic.
All right, opening snipes here for Exclusive.
Wow.
Yeah, we're seeing him at 3. We're seeing him at 3. We're seeing him at 3. 6 will fight. Time to formalize it. He's trying to run. He really is. There ain't no running from Exclusive when they're out of the tournament. They want revenge. They are coming back for blood. And it's the blood of Troglodyte Tribe that is split all across standoff, search, and destroy. As, well, 1-1 in the series. It's a little late now, exclusive, isn't it? To wake up, because you're out. It doesn't make a difference. But, yeah, 1-1 now. Fair. What a search and destroy. Why can't you do that back in map number 1?
I was going to say they're going to kick themselves now after that one, because although it wasn't necessarily the cleanest search and destroy, you could kind of see the ability that they've got in some of those players. Obviously, Neil with the sniper being one of those kind of, when you look across the scoreboard there, 12 kills there from Spy. Every player pretty much contributing. It was ironically enough, Neil at the bottom of the leaderboard, but yeah, you're looking across kind of the board. Very had a good game as well, and it's just it's just too little too late, really, unfortunately for them. I don't know what necessarily it means with regards to the map count for Troglodyte, though, because Exclusive have now taken that map off them. I think if Troglodyte won 2-0, I think they guaranteed themselves that top spot. But I think now Exclusive have taken a map. I believe them and Monarchs have both lost 2 maps. So does it go to a head-to-head in that one?
So I don't know the exact way it all works out, right? I've not done the bracketeering, so I don't specifically know how all this works. What I do know is how basically it's been explained to us is that Troglodyte Tribe, if they win either of these maps, if they just don't lose this best of 3 effectively, they will get first. I think in the group is how it goes. Someone can, one of the admins can shout at me if I'm wrong. I'm fairly certain that's how it works. Now, here's what I will say: if Exclusive do win this series now, and they prevent Troglodyte Tribe from getting first in this group, what were you doing? What are you doing here? Yeah. Did you just not want to play the playoff section of the tournament, Exclusive? Did you just wanted to give up? You didn't want to go for it? Yeah, I don't even know, dude. If they win this series now, despite not really having anything to win for, it's just kind of mean. It's very spiteful, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say, because we were talking before the show, kind of, that if they dropped that map 1, we'd be surprised if we saw them in map 2. They obviously played map 2, they've taken it, and now they're looking on map 3 to try and go the full distance of the series. So it's got to be just spite that they've lost to Troglodyte, and now they want to try and knock them down to that second seed within the group to maybe see them harder run in the bracket. That's the only thing I can think of an explanation, because normally in COD it's just, we've got nothing to play for, guys. Might as well have an early night and crack a few beers open. So, yeah, I don't really know what's happening there. It's got to be Exclusive just being like, nah, listen, if we're going down, we're going to try and drag you as far down as possible with us going into that bracket, guys. That's the only way. That's the only explanation I can think of.
Oh, Jesus. All right, well, it could well happen, folks. It's time. I think this is, statistically, I think this is the second or third control we've seen this season. We haven't seen a lot of controls. These have all been best of 3s, and the vast majority of the matches have gone down in 2. So to even get a stand-off control has been pretty fun. I'm very happy to see it. So take off control. What am I talking about? Stand. We just saw stand. Take off control. As always, the thing you got to watch out for here, whether you're playing on the offense or on the defense, is for those nasty spawn traps. So we'll keep an eye on whether either team can execute them as we get in towards said control. It is going to be Exclusive starting things off on the defense, and this is not the start that you want. Like, yeah, you've got kills, yeah, you're starting to get players forward, but it's not entirely convincing. Kirby, you take him down, and maybe it can be. Now you've got a free life advantage, and you are slowly starting to progress up the map.
Yeah, I was going to say, and number 2 here on the screen, and Spy's going to be locking down this building, and in the middle of the map, 615's going to grab a pick, but they're really trapped at the moment. Number 3 on the screen here, and Champy's going to be looking for more kills with that VMP, and he's going to be able to do it. And just while they're kind of having all this moment of madness here, Brody, for getting kills, they are literally milking the clock. Something chronic. Now 20 lives, plays 16, so a slight advantage for Exclusive. Doesn't actually look too bad. Meliadas is going to at least open up the middle portion of the map for his team to potentially reinforce, courtesy of a couple of kills. But again, you're still looking at that kill feed, and Exclusive, they just keep racking up kills. So it's now 17 plays 13, and a lot of map control for them.
Yeah, you really do need one of these players that's filtered through to actually do something. You will see 605 here stop the clock by jumping on towards B momentarily. He has now opted to actually get back towards the middle of the map to try and help out his team for maybe a more concerted effort in towards A. 605 need to do something. You need to actually make your position known. Mute will now finally activate here through the middle of the map, but there are trades coming through. Champion Veer finds some value. Last player is 605, and they go down. So, despite the fact that 605 through, amounts to nothing. Now 5 versus 10. 5 seconds on the clock. This A hit has to work.
Yeah, this next kill's huge. Oh, down to 4. It's not looking good now. Breath is down to 3 as another pick comes through. So Mute grabs 1. This Champion with a 2-piece. Pavnian now has the world on his shoulders in this first opening round. And Exclusive take a very strong defensive round. And just makes you question again, mate. what's happened in map 1, because yeah, it looks as though business smooth sailing pretty much in a map 3, which potentially you wouldn't have said at the start of the series. So I guess here we are.
I don't even know what to say at this point. I mean, look, that was a defense, right? That was pretty much par for the course. It's pretty much what you expect. How this offense goes is going to be the real question for me. Because if Exclusive win this, I don't know what's going on anymore. Looks like they're having a pretty good start. First couple of kills going in their favor. One player filtering all the way through will be Caesar, but he's going to get cut down. Now 605 trying to make his way through the lounge, and he will fall for it. So Trog now starting to gain some traction here in this round. Mute out towards the open. Will get shut down. Spike moving forward. Looking for kills through the middle of the map, and I thought maybe we're going to start to see some investment coming out from Exclusive. That is not the case. We are, however, going to see some investment from Trog. It's going to be a posthumous kill with the War Machine, but that's all that Kirby's going to get.
Yeah, but they've actually invested the Tempest as well. This is going to get one, but again, it's just going to be one for him. So they're opting to invest these specialists quite early on. We can see that the equalizer's actually come out as well, I believe. So they're looking for some more kills. 605's on the hunt. Mute's going to grab the old War Machine out to see what they can potentially get in the blender here, because they are well and truly blending Exclusive in this round. The 16 now plays 9 as they still finally get some kills out of spawn. So Exclusive can finally breathe and work their way up through middle map. It's going to be difficult though, because 605 has an opportunity again to push up onto that catwalk and get a couple of picks in towards mid. But Spy, nice work, grabs a couple of kills. The A progression is slowly coming through for them, but the life count is looking a little bit doom and gloom.
Yeah, it's the lives that's the biggest issue here. And now at this point, I would not want to see a single operator invested into this round. There's no real reason to do it if you're Exclusive. Maybe you can get these extra ticks to guarantee a defense for a potential round number 5, but yeah, at this point, feels kind of muted. 1v7, Meliodas is going to find a couple of kills. Veer trying to stunt on him for a couple of kills, maybe. He's only going to find one, though, and now we go 1-1. Yeah, that decision, I think, to hold back those operators for the next round, it gives you a massive advantage. I mean, look at the operators right now. You've got 5 on board. Trog only have 1. We kind of need to see, I think, a pretty convincing round out of Exclusive here.
Well, we're going to see the War Machine out straight away from Veer, so he's going to look to try and grab a couple of kills off it. I would only assume off spawn, but I don't think he gets anything with it. Champy's now going to invest it, so they're doing this right at the start here. Equalizer out, closing the distance, see how many they can get in the blender off spawn. Mute's flying out, he goes down. Orange Arrow is still spawning up and around. It's actually going to be a really good kill there coming through from Pavnian to take down Champy, so his operator is no more, and now you can see those arrows slowly starting to progress up the map just a little bit. We're going to now see the Annihilator come out here from Pavnian as he's looking to try and snap on a couple. The only operator that they actually managed to have at the start of the round has now gone down as well. So life count necessarily still not looking the greatest here for Exclusive Brody, and all of those operators are gone.
Yeah, that is a huge investment for Exclusive to amount to very little in the grand scheme of things. You're following up the kills, right? You are still doing it, but it wasn't necessarily the operators that have obtained this for Exclusive. Those kills coming through for Caesar, that will most certainly be very helpful. The problem is there are still a couple of players for Troglodyte Tribe that have managed to filter through. 25 seconds on the clock now. Meliodas pushing all the way forward here. Neil's going to cut one of those players down. Meliodas has gotten through, though. As has Mute. Mute goes down. Now 605 getting cut down as well. Meliodas, it feels like he was the only hope really for Troglodyte Tribe, and that hope has just filtered away.
Yeah, 15 seconds and 6 lives, or 16 seconds and 15 counting down from what seems very, very quickly now. So a couple of kills come through. 605 able to grab one of those, but Veer's going to reply with actually a couple there, courtesy of the sniper in hand. So shutting down all hopes of this round is looking pretty good for them, and that life count is looking very, very beneficial. Pavnian getting absolutely leathered, and unfortunately runs out of time before he does inevitably meet his what would have been his death. So Exclusive 2 up. Obviously, they invested a lot into that round, bro. They actually, ironically, got more value from not using the operators than one they did when they had them out, which is bizarre, but regardless, they got the round done.
All right. That was a big round for Exclusive. They did not give a single tick of progression away. Yeah, they had to use all of their operators to do it, but they don't exactly have much to face on the other side right now. It's off the start here for Exclusive as well. It feels like a Hail Mary play, and it is almost something you never see here on offense on takeoff. It is a full kit towards B. The issue, I would say, is they've got themselves set up for something that hasn't been there. Pavnian for a couple of kills. All of a sudden, it's Veer left up, and he will try and stunt on a player with a snipe, but it's only 1 kill he will get. And I think they just kind of set themselves up before actually getting any progress there. They probably could have done something a little bit more smooth.
Yeah, and 605, he actually popped his equaliser in towards the spawn of Exclusive. And it was actually quite a good job, actually, from Exclusive, just shutting him down early on, just to stop the rot, really, of life count going in their favour. But you're still looking at a deficit that is absolutely enormous at the moment. It's now 10 life deficit. The gloves are out. That's I have another one. Veer with the sniper's going to pop Kirby off of his position. So it's now going to be one where the 6 life count is looking a little bit more beneficial here to Exclusive, but they've still got to try and work their way over towards the site and get some progression. They have that 1 tick over towards B, but they've had absolutely nothing since.
8 lives are the problem here for Exclusive. Neil's investing. In a 7v14, I am very surprised to see Exclusive do that. I think on ticks alone, they, I think, have locked this down. I'm pretty sure they have done. Maybe Troglodyte Tribe got more than, I don't know, we're about to find out. But Meliodas is putting some final kills in through the spawn. Champy is bringing out the equalizers. Champy, what are you doing? What are we doing here? What is the play? The most powerful operator in Call of Duty Mobile, and he's bringing it out to play in a 1 versus 12 with 5 seconds on the board. These guys are taking the piss a little bit. Is he giving them operators? Is that what he's doing right now? Champy, that's not very nice. He's letting them cycle their operators right now.
He's like, are you not entertained? He's just whizzing around. Has he had enough? Has he finally gone, you know what? Nah. No, he's still having a go at this one. Not really quite what else to add to this one, as they're, I believe, trying to throw hands to take him down as he's just chewing through kills. So, yeah, question mark is currently the only phrase that's going through my brain at the moment, but that happened, and we're going to round 3, I guess, mate. Yeah, I don't know if you want to break that one down, because
well,
I'm not quite sure.
I think Champy was just taking the piss, I'll be honest. I don't really know what else to say. What are you doing? Letting them cycle their operators was a weird one. You didn't need to guarantee the ticks. Like, you could have just kind of run into them and like gotten yourself killed. I don't know. Regardless, not really much you can do in that situation. Troglodyte will be able to cycle their way through to a couple of operators at the start of this round. Every bit of utility that Exclusive have now is coming out to play. They are playing on the defense, and they want to bully Troglodyte Tribe. They are doing it perfectly. Ooh. There goes Mewtwo, was the furthest player forward. 605 will bring his Predator missile down from the heavens, but the life disparity is already starting to dawn on them a little bit.
Oh, God, yeah, Champy. They are making sure they put Troglodyte through the mud here in this final round to finally let them know, yeah, don't know what's happened map 1, guys, but we'll do as much damage as we can to you in this series and potentially in that bracket, as Mute's able to pick off 1, but you have actually still got, I believe it's Kirby who's managed to slip through the net all the way through, but again, it's kind of what he does with it. He's obviously going to try and look for a couple of kills. The Annihilator from Pavnian, meanwhile, he's going to go on the route to see if he can potentially snap onto a few heads that might come across. Nope, the kill feed lights up extremely blue, and it's going to be a 7 life advantage now for Exclusive as they try and get this one done with a bang.
It's desperation time for Troglodyte Tribe. 30 seconds on the board. And again, it feels like your only hope as a player that you've managed to slip the net. They need to come back, and they need to come back now, because everybody else are like lambs to the slaughter. Meliodas has been a good player in this game so far, hitting 30 kills, but as he falls, Kirby, he's trying to play distraction, trying to draw the attention of everybody over towards B, and he cannot even find a single kill. He is successful in the latter, though. He does manage to draw the attention, but there's only 2 players left on Trog. And if Troglodyte Tribe wanted to top Group D, Exclusive, if they cannot get through, will stop them from doing that. They go all the way to a Game 3, Round 5, and Exclusive are the team to win it. Doesn't matter, though, Exclusive, because you're still out.
Yeah. What? I mean, I don't really know what we say to that, apart from they must be very bitter players, because they just shut Troglodyte down in that one. I mean, hey, we got a control. I'm happy. It's the first control that I've seen, and yeah, it was a mixy one regardless. Got to see some good action in that one. But yeah, if you're Exclusive, you just got to look at that and go, boys, really? Did we have to drop that map 1? Because now they're kind of playing for peanuts. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. They managed to take the round, they take the series, but they kind of get the wooden spoon at the back end of it. Champy 35 and 22 from him. Very good work. And 605 obviously going to take away kind of the L, but with a good bit of good fortune at 34 and 21. But yeah, mate, I don't really know what else to say apart from Exclusive of just kind of, they bottled the map 1, and yeah, map 2 and map 3, they did what they needed to, which was do something for nothing, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that confirms it, I guess. I don't know if we're going to be throwing up the bracket to show you guys exactly what our final bracket looks like here, or if we're going to do groups. I don't know. We'll do the bracket. We'll show you guys the bracket. Here it is. Here's the bracket. We were robbed of Animus versus Exclusive. It would have been a phenomenal first round matchup, but Exclusive, they pooped the bed and they will not be getting through. Combine Hardpoint was just too much to ask for, despite the fact that they still beat Troglodyte Tribe. It means that Troglodyte Tribe will actually be facing Animus in their first round of play, and Monarchs will get the easier ride against Instinct. Honestly, like I think the first round of matches are probably going to be pretty interesting here. When we get to those semi-finals, though, you know, the potential of Animus versus Ace, Monarchs against NRW, I think we got some spicy matches ahead of us next week, mate.
Well, this is potentially where Troglodyte Tribe are going to be thinking, oh, bloody hell, lads, couldn't you just forfeit? Because now, obviously, they've got that game against Animus right out the gates. Whereas, as you kind of mentioned, that game against Instinct would have been a little bit more, potentially more straightforward for them to potentially come out of that one. But yeah, as you whittle down these teams, mate, when you go from quarters to semis, that's kind of where your seeding essentially is no more. Obviously, finishing top of the group, you're going to be the favourites going into that semi-final. But then usually, unless there's a big upset, you do get pretty much every top seed going through to that semi-final unless there's a bit of a big upset. So yeah, you'd anticipate that those games on Friday are going to be very, very good. Yeah, some juicy fixtures on that one, mate, leading into potentially what could be a very good final on Sunday. So yeah, busy COD action next week. But yeah, Troglodyte Tribe have got a more difficult game than they probably would hope for after that map one. They were probably thinking, right, okay, cool, boys, we've got a decent game against Instinct. Well, no, not anymore.
Well, look, if you could almost be exclusive, surely you can beat the first place team from the last couple of seasons of the Snapdragon Pro Series, right? But yeah, that's just it. Our first ever EACS tournament, and potentially our last, with how have some of the African teams have acted with forfeiting their matches. Don't do it, guys. But still, it's been wonderful to cast over this tournament so far, folks. And this is the group stage is done and dusted. We have all 8 teams making it into the next stage of competition. And if I've learned one thing over the course of the last couple of weeks, it's that there is a very deep talent pool in Europe. I genuinely believe that Europe has never looked this good, and I'm excited for the future of the region in COD Mobile. Next week, then, it's all do or die for every single team. 8 teams remain, but only one can be EACS champion. Check us in on Monday once again for the next stage of the competition. We'll see you then for EACS.